Hey guys, this is Scott from the Scott to Grow podcast. Welcome to another edition of Gettin, Scott Headed, our weekly rant series. I rant about a different movie, TV, entertainment, or pop culture related topic. Today I'm going to be ranting about why more TV reboots should be animated. So the reason I brought up this topic is inspired slightly by my brother and inspired also by the most recent, well, not the most recent, but a recent reboot of a comedy that was Corner Gas that was brought back as an animated series. They picked it up with all the same characters. They got most of the voice actors back, and I just thought that this was such a great idea that rebooting a TV show with an animated version of it instead. And the reason I think this is such a great idea, even though I'm usually against TV reboots, is that taking a live action one and rebooting it as an animated just kind of gives it a new life, a new perspective that you can add into. You can go down different avenues. It's cheaper, so that it's not as big a risk for the studios, which is, that doesn't really apply to audiences that much, but I like to think it contributes a little bit to it. So I think it'd be a pretty cool and interesting idea if they started rebooting more and more shows with animated ones. And I'm not the biggest animated guy. I'm not the animated. I am kind of animated, but I'm not the biggest fan of animated TV shows. I haven't watched Family Guy or Simpsons in ages, but I do like certain ones like Archer. I keep up with every time a new season gets added to Netflix, and so I think that certain TV show reboots could definitely benefit from coming back as an animated series as opposed to just coming back as live action and recasting and trying to give us a whole new thing. Because I think sticking with at least, even if you recast all the voices in an animated, being able to keep those same kind of character molds is the most part would be able to, I feel like it'd be less of a shock on audiences and kind of keep them more involved. And like I said, with the less of a risk to the studios, they might be more willing to try more of these different shows. I want Sliders to come back as an animated series, guys. That's what it is. Okay, that's what this whole thing really comes down to is I miss Sliders. I kind of get Jerry O'Connell's probably too old for it, but he could do the voice. He still loves doing voice acting. He does Superman all the time. And I want Hollywood to do some more TV show reboots as animated series instead, because I think it'd just be cool. It'd be a great idea. I think the downsides to it just seem very small. I can't think of many downsides to it besides the fact that less people maybe watch animated series as compared to live action series, and sometimes you might feel like you're going to alienate your audience by switching it, but I feel like you could also alienate your audience by completely rebooting a TV show with a live action thing instead. And I think the animated kind of gives you the best of both worlds, because you can still keep the imagery of the original series. You don't have to worry about trying to figure out how to make different sets and settings from a past that we don't have anymore. So you have to kind of try and put it together, and those always look different. It always some shows do a great job of recreating the past, but what I mean is recreating a TV show's past. So if Corner Gas, for example, if they tried to get that gas station again, I'm sure it'd look different. I'm sure you could tell it'd feel different. And if they had to get a whole new gas station for Corner Gas, it wouldn't have felt right. And that's why I felt like with them doing the animated series and an animated series for more TV reboots would be such a great idea, because it leaves the opportunity to keep the things you like, but while experimenting with a new avenue, a new entertainment avenue that you have that same connection of, you get the characters and the story and all that from the original idea, but then you also get to try new things, because it is technically a different format, right? And that different format allows you, animation, you can do anything with anything you can draw, you can make into animation, and it's so much less expensive, and you don't have to put as much into it as a big CGI superhero show and different things like that. And they already have been taking advantage of this. DC has plenty of animated cartoons, most of them more focused towards kids, but they've got the movies for us adults. But I think TV show reboots would definitely in particular benefit from more of them being rebooted as animated series. And I get that this wouldn't apply to all of them. I don't care. I don't want to see Law and Order rebooted, even though it's still running. You know what I mean? A show like that wouldn't make sense. A cop procedural wouldn't make quite as much sense. But a show like some like comedies, I think sitcoms in particular, I think would benefit from this highly, and different sci-fis that we've lost, or that didn't quite get as long a run. Like maybe even Firefly, it kind of ran out its course in, the movie it had, Serenity. But I think it'd be interesting to explore it more because there are comic books that I've started to read, but you could explore it even more by diving into having an animated series of it potentially. And there's so many different ones, like Buffy getting rebooted. Like I like that they're going with a new Slayer instead, but that would have been an option that they could have gone with. They could have gone with an animated one, and that would have been a way to bring back these characters who aren't the same age as they used to be, but you want to still tell more of their story. So Buffy isn't the greatest example. She got plenty of her story told, so it's good that she's getting rebooted as a new character, as long as they don't call it Buffy, because that would make weird sense. Why would more than one person name their child Buffy? Unless they're a fan of her, which is her show canon in canon? That's not really the point. The point is, guys, more TV reboots should be animated. Not all of them, but more of them should be. That's the end of my rant today, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think more TV shows should be rebooted as animated series, or do you think there's certain shows that can't be, or do you think, well, I've said that the shows can't be. Just let me know, guys, what your thoughts are on this. Do you think more should? Do you think that they're fine the way they've been going with their reboots? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for joining me today for this rant that was all over the place, and have a good one, guys.